Hi, this is Oren Conheim, better known as the Sophomore Critic channel, and I will have my Patreon down below. This has been a really exciting moment for sketch comedy fans because Saturday Night Live UK has appeared with 11 stars that I've never heard of a single one before, as well as most American people have never heard of these 11 guys, and that's part of the fun of Saturday Night Live, is that it's a great spectator sport. We watch people who no one's ever heard of before become either future stars or future washouts right before our very eyes. I think what's also great about Saturday Night Live as a spectator sport is there's so many parlor games you can play with it. Who gets the most screen time? Which sketches catch on a life of their own? And I think what's also really important to note that a lot of people miss about Saturday Night Live is there's no such thing as Saturday Night Live being good or Saturday Night Live being bad. Saturday Night Live always gets the best writers in the country through a very thorough nationwide talent search to deliver their best sketches. And a Saturday Night Live sketch or sketch in general is way more subjective as art. It's not a full episode of a show with a plot and multiple points. It's generally something that just leads towards a punchline. So as a result, every episode will always have sketches that you like and sketches that you don't like. And I think the fun is figuring out whether your taste matches up with someone else's taste. For instance, I don't love Domingo or the cowbell sketch, and the cowbell sketch is called the greatest of all time, so who knows? What happens with Saturday Night Live UK is it's already getting a lot of negative feedback, which I just find very curious because I'm suspicious of anyone who is ever saying Saturday Night Live is not good or its best days were in the past. Those critics have always been proven wrong by the fact that the show's format is very resilient. At Saturday Night Live UK, what I'm seeing most in the feedback in the first couple weeks is that the show is not British enough, or that the show is not like British comedy. And it reminds me of when I was a journalist in my second year, because I've been a published journalist for 15 years now on a professional level. And someone said at a hip alt weekly said, we need you to write really cool, really, we're trying to write something cool, edgy. And the problem is I can do a good job, but I can't write to vague adjectives. All I could do was write the best content I could. To sort of skew it towards a vague adjective is not gonna necessarily produce anything better. And it reminds me of the rival program of Saturday Night Live called Mad TV, where in their first season they faced the identity crisis of what are we gonna be? Are we gonna try to be like Saturday Night Live, or are we gonna try to write our own content? And the question is, and Patton Oswalt, who later became a famous comic, said that we should just write our own thing. We should just write what makes us laugh and what makes us funny. And maybe years later, some people think Mad TV is better than Saturday Night Live, but Mad TV has a distinctive comic signature. I think this idea of you have to be British in your comedy, and I'm not necessarily sure what that means. I've seen Monty Python, and I've seen Fawlty Towers, and borderline, a little bit of British comedy. I'm not saying I'm an expert. The idea of writing British sounds like a vague adjective. It sounds like these people should just write what's funny, because if you judge it by what's funny and the quality of their sketches, the first 2 weeks of Saturday Night Live UK have been pretty bulletproof. It also seems to me that they have the challenge of they're creating content for a global audience because Sky Bet gets broadcast on Peacock, which gets broadcast to both North American English-speaking countries. And they're also writing stuff that's topical English humor. And by English, I don't mean English language, I mean British. And when it comes to British humor, we're talking about people I think as American audiences want to know how the world is different. I'm so thankful that globalization doesn't make our countries and cultures so different that our comedy shows would be entirely the same. There's a humongous number of figures in British culture and politics who us Americans would have no idea what they're like. I didn't even know there was a prime minister named Keir Starmer. I thought it was Theresa May who was still the prime minister, or that mayor of London. So I have no idea. And it's gonna be a lot of fun to really get deep into their culture. Most of us, when we study abroad or we go to another country, it's actually kind of a treat to when I studied abroad in Mexico 20 years ago, I saw Big Brother Mexico, and it was just a lot of fun. It wasn't identifiable to American culture, but we liked that cultural spin. So I would say if I was running Saturday Night Live UK, do the Saturday Night Live cultural references, make your comedy specific to events and people and cultural touchstones that are happening in UK, but don't worry too much about anything in your style but being funny.